Hey y'all, as you can see, we're back out in the garage again, and this time though, I'm not going to be talking to you about porting cylinder heads, even though that's a very good subject. So, this time though, I'm going to be talking to you about something else that really deserves a lot of attention, but it doesn't get talked about very much. And it's outside out here, it's usually sitting right here. It's my truck. But as much as I love those trucks, the D series Dodge trucks, and I love Dodge trucks in general, but the D series trucks, they do have some quirks about them that just makes them, well, irritating. And for a lot of us Dodge truck fanatics like myself, keep in mind, I'm not bashing these trucks at all. I love them. This is a truck I have driven. I mean, my God, look at the mileage. 360,000. So, yeah, I've driven this truck a lot. I have no qualms about jumping in this truck and driving all the way across the country. This wouldn't be a problem for me. But there is some things when you live with a vehicle for a while, or you live with anything for a while, things that just start to annoy you, things that just kind of bug you, bother you. So that's what this is going to be about. But first, before I get into that, I want to say thank you all so much for all the likes and the shares and the subscribes. We're now up over 2,393, I think it is. It's amazing. It's just simply amazing. That many subscribers. It's just like, I can't even picture that many people together. But I truly do thank you. I truly appreciate it. I love all of the interaction in the comments. I really love that. I appreciate that. It helps, and it also helps out the channel. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's get down to it. All right, let's start with the interior. Okay, now, so here we are in the interior, and this truck is a 92 model, okay? And built in October of 91. That makes it a 1992 model year vehicle. So you would think they would have cup holders, but they don't. I've never seen one of these trucks with cup holders, factory cup holders. And I've never seen any options talking about that. Just kind of crazy. I just don't understand why they couldn't have whipped something up. I mean, yeah, I know they were busy working on the newest, latest, greatest, Ram series of trucks that was coming out in 94, but it just seems like, why couldn't you have just done something? But anyway, so I made this thing, and it holds my mugs. I put my mug in there, and it just holds the mugs just fine. And this is somewhat adjustable here, and I can kind of custom tailor it as I want. Okay, enough of that. Now let's get on to something a little more important. These trim pieces around the windows. You see, like that one? It's cracking. That one's cracking. This one, there's an entire section missing from it. And my truck is not alone in this. A lot of these Dodge trucks have this problem. And there's nobody reproducing these. Nobody reproduces these at all. Nobody. There's no one nowhere that is reproducing these interior trim panels. So if you see some in the junkyard, snag them up. Grab them. I know that's what I do when I see them. And you like the headliner? Yeah. This is a factory headliner that I redid. The factory color was gray, but I put black up there. I kind of like it a little bit better. Makes it a lot quieter in here, a lot nicer. It's nice to get rid of the noises you don't want to hear and then deal with the noises you do want to hear. Okay. See, that trim piece there's broken off. They're on the end. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, you see it right there. Yeah, that's better. See how it is? It's all the way. Then over here on this end, it's broken off too. So kind of crazy, you know, that it's like that, but that's the way it is. It's just kind of silly. I guess they made these really inexpensively. I noticed on the earlier, like in the 80s, like 81, 82, 83, 84, these are just seem to be a little bit more durable and better made. These seem to be like so cheap. If you drop them, you'll break them. I mean, it's really, really bad. So, anyway, all right. So that's number 2. That's number 1. What's number 3? I'm gonna show you. Here's number 3. So on to number 3. This right here. This is your fuse panel on these trucks. And it is irritating. Oh my God, is it irritating. It's so irritating because this is factory. This is how it comes. Okay? So when you have a blown fuse, you have to do this number. Now, in the earlier series of trucks, it was up there on the dash, right next to the glove box. The earlier, before they redesigned the dash in 81, the 80 and back, 72 to 80, they had the fuse panel right. You opened up the glove box lid, and there was the glove box, and then to the left of it was your fuse panel. It was so nice. It was just like, it was like brilliant. It was such a wonderful idea. But then they come up with this, and it's sort of like they just stuck it in there at the last damn minute. One of those things that makes you scratch your head and wonder, what the hell were they thinking? So, and sometimes this thing has fallen out on me while I'm driving. So that's a little bit of an irritation. Fortunately, it's never made me crash or anything like that. I'm really thankful for that. So, okay, on to the next thing. Now, in regards to the frame and steering. So this is number 4. Now, not saying anything bad about the steering box, because actually the steering box on this truck is really, really good. Right there it is. Okay. It's really, really good steering gearbox. As you can see, here's my rag joint is in great shape. There's nothing wrong with that. For those of you who don't know, that just allows for the little bit of misalignment that can occur when you're dealing with undulating road or surface conditions, like in my backyard. And it allows the cab and chassis to move us somewhat slightly independent. So this doesn't have to be exactly perfectly in line all the time. Okay? And I mean, you also have that little doodad right there, the pot coupler. A lot of people hate those. I don't have much trouble with them. I rebuilt that one and had to rebuild it once, and it's been great. So some folks even put a grease fitting on them. I'll probably put a grease fitting on that one. But here's another thing. Speaking of steering, here's another area that can be a problem, is the frame. It's right there. My magnet on my light just stuck to it. So what happens is when you're steering, usually at very low speeds or like sitting still and you're turning the wheel, this frame will twist like this, depending on which way you're steering the steering wheel. And it's a lot of effort. I mean, the steering gearbox has to have something to be mounted to push off of, to force the wheels one way or the other. And I'll tell you this, if you've ever steered one of these without power steering, oh my God, that is a workout and a half. I mean, there's a lot of effort going into that, and you'll be thinking, I love power steering. But you see, Dodge even went so far, Chrysler's engineers went so far and added that brace right there. Well, I added these two right here. They run up under that. You see the edge of that, you see that cross member under the radiator? Well, that's what they bolt to. I did a similar thing over here. Yeah, I did a similar thing right here. Okay, and that just runs to the bottom of the frame rail and runs down. Now, I would have run a top bar to match the other side, but the radiator hose is in the way. So, but also too, this only has the idler arm over here. It doesn't have the steering gearbox. So, there you go. I'm sure if somebody wanted to, they could make some sort of brace assembly that would attach to the top frame rail here and run over the top of that radiator hose and then down to the cross member under the radiator. But while you may think this doesn't add a lot of rigidity, it actually helps quite a bit, and it keeps that frame rail from doing the twisty. So, which is not really a good thing. So, another thing. So, number 5. All right, here we go. Number 5. Rust. Right here above the rear wheels. Now, let me tell you something. This truck, while it's got a lot of miles on it, it's also got a whole lot of wax that has been applied to this truck. And I'm not talking like spray wax. I'm talking like real, actual wax. And it has rusted out. Just rusted away. I've got a parts truck up there in '89 in my field back there. It has no rust right here at all. None. Not one damn drop. And that truck has lived it doesn't even know what wax is. It doesn't even know what the inside of a garage looks like. This thing gets parked in the garage every night, or nearly every night. It's just like, what? So, yeah. Kind of crazy, kind of irritating. So, there's like 3 pieces of metal that comes down here. There's like the outer skin, there's an inner fender, and no, I'm sorry. There's outer skin, there's an inner bed wall, and then the fender. They all 3 come down right here and meet. And if any moisture gets in between there, it's over. Moisture and dirt gets in there, it's done. All done up. Done and over with. So, those are 5 things that are just irritating little things about, these D-Series Dodge trucks that you'll probably want to change out. Some of this stuff, you probably live with it, or at least live with it for a while. So, but now I'm going to give you 3 little bonuses. That's right, I'm going to give you 3 little bonuses. Okay, here's one of them. The first one is the rear axles. A lot of these Dodge trucks came with an 8 1/4, which is not a horrible rear axle, but it's not the best in the world either. Okay, as you can see, this one's got the 8 3/4. It's 489 center section, 355 with a shear grip, and that center section was built by Quick Performance. Quick Performance, and really happy with that rear axle. Does a great job. So, but this one came with a 9 1/4, and I wasn't entirely happy with that. I wasn't like, destroying it or nothing. Never did destroy it, but it had some issues. This one, however, However, I did have an 8 1/4 in here for quite a while, and the 8 1/4 finally let go. Pinion bearings. 8 1/4 is an okay rear end. You just can't, you know, expect to put a whole lot of power through it. Now, you can probably put a whole lot of power through an 8 1/4 if you lose about maybe 1,000, 1,200 pounds out of one of these, you know. But still, then you're like, you know, you're running on borrowed time. So, next thing. Next little bonus. So what is this, number 7? Okay, you see my drive shaft? Well, you see the drive shaft right there? Okay, that's my drive shaft. Okay, right beyond that is the gas tank. Tell you what, let's go to the other side and you can see it a lot better. You can see what I'm talking about a lot better. Get back over your driver's side. So here's a much better close-up of the gas tank. As you can see, it's inside the frame rail. Now that's done for safety purposes to keep the gas tank from getting damaged, and I appreciate that. I like that. However, it does make running dual exhaust on these trucks a little more difficult. That means you either have to do what I did, which is the exhaust has to come out under the frame rail and come back through here, like so. Or you have to run them both on the passenger side over there, and then run them back, and then they exit out somewhere. You know, under the bumper, or just behind the rear wheels or something like that. So that's another little issue. Now here's something that tends to bother some people, is this right here. That's part of the parking brake. It's an equal part of the parking brake system. A little lever there. So here's the parking brake cable attached to it. As you can tell, it's tight right now because I got the parking brakes on. But some people have a little problem with that when they don't, because you can see it sometimes really easily. Now I know on the step side trucks it's even a little more easier to see. My suggestion on that is just probably paint it black, and paint the surrounding frame and area around it black so it kind of blends in, camouflages. Okay, one more bonus, and that's in the interior. And right here it is. The seats. Now, I'm somebody, I like driving. I really love driving. And I love driving a vehicle that I get a lot of, I can put a lot of miles on it pretty comfortably and get at least some level of performance out of it. Now, I know what you're thinking, V6 engine, you're not going to get a whole lot of performance out of that, but hey, I can get some, okay? I can get some performance, but so, straighten the steering wheel up here. Yeah, Grant GT steering wheel. If you ever do one of these, be sure to take that that spring under here, cut it down quite a bit. Yeah, when the engine's not running, it's really hard for me to get the horn to work. When the engine's running, the horn works. So, okay. Anyway, but what I was saying is, here's the bonus. Here's another bonus one. In the factory original bench seat that this truck came with, my butt was right on the edge of the seat. And it was really uncomfortable. And I didn't like it. So what I had to do was I got these bucket seats and I moved them move this one over. You may not be able to tell it here on camera, but the seat, this seat is got me pretty much perfectly in line with the center of the steering wheel, which is great because I can see the gauges pretty good, and I can reach everything pretty good, and it just makes driving this just a little bit nicer, you know. The bench seat, you don't have a whole lot holding you in except for maybe your seat belt here, and the door. So you got to have something, you know, to make it interesting. Got to have something to make it more comfortable and enjoyable rather than being slung around in the cabin. So, alrighty, that is the three. That is the top 5. Those last 3 are truly subjective. You may be one of those guys that loves the bench seat, and that is perfectly all right. You can love the bench seat. I like the bench seat pretty good myself too. As a matter of fact, I kept the bench seat in this truck for 200,000 miles, something like that, 150, 200,000 miles. So I kept it a long time before I went to these bucket seats. They come out of Dodge Daytona. Those bucket seats did. So, there we go. All right. So, if you all found this video helpful and enjoyable, please do give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate your continued viewing and patronage. I really do appreciate that. And I thank you all so much for all the likes and the shares and the subscribes. And if you have any further questions, feel free to ask. You know what to do. You're smart. Drop it down in the comment section down below. I'll do my very best to help you out. Okay? Thank you very much, and God bless.